Welcome to the Loam North American Bike Park Review Tour. My name is Andrew.
And I'm Drew. This summer we're going to be hitting the road to not only review the trails at bike parks, but give you some of the best information on local spots to eat, lodging, camping, and activities to do off the mountain.
So strap in, let's hit the road.
Thanks for tuning in for our final episode of the North American Bike Park Review Tour. My name is Drew from theloamwolf.com, and today we're going to be talking about our home bike park, which is Mount Bachelor. Located about 25 miles outside of Bend, Oregon, Mount Bachelor is a very unique park in a lot of ways, and one that we've grown quite fond of since it's right here in our backyard. So before we get into talking about some of the trails, let's talk about Mount Bachelor and what they offer, the infrastructure, as it's kind of something that's a bit unique to some of the other parks we've visited. So Mount Bachelor is located kind of up in the wilderness. There's no hotels. There's only one restaurant where you can get some food, so there's not a lot to do up at the mountain once you're there. There's not a village per se. There is a few things to do. Like I said, there's one spot to eat. They've got a little gift store, bike shop, rental area. So, if you come without a bike, you can come get some gear and a bike. You'll be set up. But there's not a lot to do if you've got a family in tow and you want to drop them off while you go get some laps. So, it's definitely, lacking in that sense. Once you get up onto the trails, there's two lifts that access the mountain. One is a beginner lift. They've got a lower priced ticket option, and that will get riders up to some of the more green, basic entry-level trails that are great for younger riders, older riders, or anyone that's just new to mountain biking and wants to warm up, get used to the terrain at Bachelor. Now, Mount Bachelor is a volcanic mountain, so the terrain there is very rocky, it is loose. Most of the summer it is also very dry. So it's definitely important to bring some extra tires, tubes, whatever you might want, and get used to it because the traction there can be tricky. Once you access the main lift up to the top, you're gonna have a variety of trails. Chili and I both agreed that the blue trails are somewhat lacking on the mountain. You've got some, the green zone, you've got green trails like Lava Flow, which are definitely getting better every year as the park works on, managing that flow and luckily pointing it more downhill and less uphill. But that is kind of the main artery that runs down, and some of the trails kind of branch off of that. Trails like Rattlesnake, which is a really fun downhill trail, perfect for an enduro bike or a DH bike. It's a techie, natural, raw track, and every time you get a little more comfortable on it, you'll find natural gaps, you'll pick up more speed. Definitely one of our favorites, and it leads down into Big Wood, or you can finish it all the way off to the bottom. If you want to get over to the brand new trail, which is called Redline, it is one of the most, I would say, unique and well-built jump trails of any bike park we went to this summer. It's got really unique hits. There's just berms to fadeaway shark fins. You've got massive step ups. There's a really cool drop at the end. I mean, there's some really nicely constructed features, and it was a big upgrade for the Mount Bachelor Bike Park. So props to all the builders, Kyle Jamison and crew, for getting Redline up and running. Definitely a destination-worthy trail, in our opinion.
Step down. You're up.
Now again, if you're looking for more downhill trails, you've got Rockfall, which is going to be a pretty aggressive, steep, very natural trail that runs right down the chairlift line. And if you want to put a little more mileage in, you can run around the back of the mountain and do Last Chance, which has another couple of branch offs. And that's a great enduro bike trail. There's a little bit of pedaling, but not any climbing, some semi-flat or slight, low slope traverses, but all in all, it's a very good time. A lot of good trails to be had up there, but it's not something that's gonna keep you entertained for a week, right? If you come out here, you know, the big benefit of Mount Bachelor Bike Park is its proximity to Bend. You know, as a standalone bike park, if it was in the middle of nothing, you know, it'd probably be a little bit lacking in terms of making you want to go there to spend 5-6 days riding. With the extensive trail network that Bend, Oregon offers, it really would make a great option for people coming from out of town to make a week-long vacation. You know, you could get a ton of riding down in town on the lower trails, great for pedaling, putting some miles in. If you want to spend a few days up on the lift, you're gonna have plenty to do up there that'll keep you entertained on the more steeper, aggressive terrain in the Central Oregon area. So again, the proximity to Bend, what does that mean? It means you've got a ton of nightlife, tons of dining options, tons of other off-mountain activities to do. However, it is about a 30-minute drive. So that's gonna come to bite Mount Bachelor a little bit later in terms of, you know, the overall score of the park, because the reality is it's a 30 to 40-minute drive to get to the mountain every day if you're staying in Bend, which you're gonna be doing unless you camp out up in the parking lot or on a forest road. So Bend, Oregon, again, dining, you got a ton of options. If you're downtown, we highly recommend, you know, you check out Spoken Moto and the entire box factory area. There's a ton of really cool stuff in there. Spoken Moto is a great spot for coffee, a little breakfast, or even an afternoon break if you want to just kind of hang out. They've got a little food cart area. The box factory is directly adjacent to it. There's a spot called the Brown Owl. They've got great food. We highly suggest it. There's a deli with awesome sandwiches. You've also got the River Pig, which is a great kind of little bar, restaurant spot. You can go in there, get a drink, have a pretty good meal. The burger's delicious. Definitely suggest that. If you want to go into the downtown area, Brother John's is definitely one of our favorites. Sora Sushi is going to be a conveyor belt sushi place every Sunday. They do happy hour all day. Definitely suggest that. And if you want to go to the tourist spots, you know, you've got 10 Barrel Brewery and Deschutes Brewery. They both offer tours. So if you're interested in how beer is made here in Central Oregon, sign up for a tour. If you're looking for non-dining and non-riding activities, there's still plenty more things to do in Bend. They've got a wave park. You can float the river, surf the wave. You've got endless places to go rock climbing, fishing. You know, if you're a golfer, they got a ton of courses around. So there's really no shortage of things to do in Bend when you're here visiting. It is a very happening town. There's almost always a weekend, you know, block party, a parade, you name it. So you'll definitely have a lot of stuff to do. It's very family friendly, super pet friendly. And that is something that kind of bolsters the overall score of the area, with the caveat that you do have to drive up to the mountain to ride the park. Overall, you know, my partner who's not here today, Chili Dog, and I discussed at length the vote, our number rating for Mount Bachelor. It is a tough one, again, because Bend is such a cool town. We're trying to not put our bias of, you know, it kind of being a hometown into it. The fact that it is a 30-minute drive every day you want to go ride the bike park, you know, that's a little bit of a downside compared to just waking up, rolling out of your hotel and getting on the lift, right? Like so many other parks can do. The blue trails are a bit lacking, in our opinion, at Mount Bachelor. The green trails are good. There are quite a few. They've got a really affordable skill zone and beginner area for the green level riders, which is great. They've got a fun little jump zone at the bottom of the mountain. Their black tech trails are pretty fun, although there's not very many. And the new red line jump trail, which is, you know, an expert pro level jump trail, is a blast, and they absolutely killed it with that. So that being said, we see a ton of potential for the Mount Bachelor Bike Park. We're really excited for the future and then building more trails here. And with a $44 ticket price, it's a pretty fair value in our opinion. So while we would love to see a little bit more of a village and infrastructure at Mount Bachelor Bike Park, the reality is that's probably never gonna happen, as the park sits just 1 mile from wilderness and is in the Deschutes National Forest. So construction, permitting, and just allowance of such a build or undertaking is not realistic. So although it's a bit of a bummer, we understand, you know, preservation of wilderness kind of takes precedent over that. So We both gave the park a 7.5 out of 10. Again, you know, if you take into account Bend and all the offerings down there, that would bring it up, but the drive up kind of brings it back down. So 7.5 overall out of everything we've been to this year. Very solid park. Great riding in the Bend area. So if you want to come out, take a vacation, we highly suggest you come take a look at Mount Bachelor. The new trails that are getting built seem to get better every year, and we're really excited about the future. So hopefully we'll see you guys there next summer. Thanks for tuning in to theloamwolf.com. Be sure to check out all the other videos we've shot this summer and let us know where you'd like to see us go next year for season 2. Thanks.